MrYorkieLoverFitness.com. Ladies and gentlemen, the first man to build 21-inch biceps, drug-free.
It was so exciting for us to get together 20 years ago in San Diego to see all the old-timers, and what I call the old-timers, Vince Duranda, guys that maybe a lot of you never heard of. But it was just all of us milling around, and it was so exciting because we were the older. We're from the days that didn't have steroids, and we loved bodybuilding for the sake of bodybuilding. It wasn't bodybuilding like it is so. These guys are so competitive with each other and hostile to each other, and they're like prima donnas. We were all like a fraternity. And we're guys from the 40s and the 50s, and we decided to get together, and I'm looking at all these guys that really were great bodybuilders in our time, and it was like a feeling of euphoria. It was just Marvin Eder, guys that maybe a lot of you never heard of, Artie Zeller, guys that really were the backbone of bodybuilding. And you know what's the funny thing? I look at this and I say to myself, 20 years ago, how the time flies. And it's sort of kind of nostalgic because a lot of the greats that you're seeing there are not around today. And it's sad, but it's also uplifting. And I look at when I look at it now, it's like, I was like so excited to see the guys, because you know, a lot of us hadn't seen each other for years. And you get like guys like Larry Scott. He was much younger than I was. You know, I'm Leroy Colbert, first man built 21-inch arms. And I was around before Larry. And Larry's also considered an old-timer, so you know what you're looking at here. And, you know, and that's Larry there in the middle there talking to all the other guys, and that's Vince Duranda, which he's the guru of bodybuilding. And Russ Warner, there's Russ Warner. I couldn't remember his name. He's one of the guys that put the whole reunion together. And it was just an exciting, and Duranda, he was like the guru. He thought he had all the answers. He reminds me of one of my friends. He had all the answers of bodybuilding. You walk up to Vince, and he said, "Remember me, Vince?" And he would say, "Should I remember you? And if you hadn't done anything in bodybuilding, then you better not ask Vince, do you remember me? Because Vince will make you embarrass you." But this was something that I'll never forget, and I'll always remember this day. And there's Vince on the left there. You know, always like to instruct and tell you what to do. The guy next to Vince on the left, I don't know who he is. Of course, everybody knows Larry Scott. Larry Scott was one of the greats of his day. And he had, see, Larry came along during the time when they began to use drugs pretty heavy. And so Larry got a little sick there, so he had to drop out of the game for a while. But now the guy that's taking the pictures, I can't exactly remember his name, but he's I think he's the publisher of Mind Man magazine. And there's Vince is the guy that I get the biggest kick out of. That's him in the middle there, because Vince thinks he's the catch me out. You know, everybody focus on Vince. You see, everything is focused on Vince here. And let me see, there's the great, the pioneer of them all. You just spotted this, Joe Weider. Joe Weider's one that glamorized bodybuilding and made bodybuilding what it is today. Without Joe Weider, it wouldn't be half. Joe Weider made all of these guys, I mean, because he made it, glamorized it. Before Joe Weider came along, people thought of bodybuilders as just stiff weightlifters, and then he glamorized the beauty of bodybuilding. And I mean, it's just great to see him, and that's him right there in the middle of Vince. He's nothing but Vince. Vince is all over the damn place. And Kennedy, I think his name is, the photographer, the guy to the right of Joe. not exactly sure his first name. And I think over there in the middle, that's one of, in the middle there, I think it's, now we're outside now on the veranda. And not the veranda, the backyard and of the hotel, the back of the hotel. And now we're back here with Kennedy, and that's Larry Scott with Kennedy with his hand around his wife. And when I look at Larry, Larry is so much younger than, and of course that's me, next talking to Joe, my mentor, you know, and and I've always been a windbag, and even 20 years ago I was still windy, you know. And that, you see what else, there's John Grimmick, the great John Grimmick, the greatest of our day, the greatest bodybuilder of our day, and he's not with us right now, you know. He's going to bodybuilding heaven, you know, but, and at Kennedy, he was excited. He was the guy taking all the pictures, and he was like the guy that, there's Grimmick there. I mean, Grimmick there is in his 80s and still training he trained heavy up to his death almost. I never could figure how John was able to lift so heavy. You know what? To me, this is the culmination of the evening. I enjoyed this part more than anything because we all got together, and outside on all of us old timers. I'm sorry about the quality, but this was transferred from VHS to DVD. And of course, at the time, 20 years ago, none of that stuff was of the quality that you have today. But I'm looking at all the guys. There's old Jack LaLanne. What a beautiful man he was. I love that guy. There's Jack LaLanne sitting down next to John Grimmick. And there's Armantani, one of the great bodybuilders of our time. There's, let me see, I think there's Reeves there. Let me see. There's Ed Jubenville. Ed Jubenville just bending over there. And Joe Abenda. And then there's George. You know what's so sad? I'm mentioning these guys' names, and I hate to say it, though. But George Eiferman is not with us anymore, you know, and my mentor, Joe Weider, he's in his 90s now, and he's hanging in there. Armantani, we're not blessed with him any longer. And there's Vince, you know, he's always got a grandstand. Mr. Grandstand Vince with that big jacket on. I don't know where he got it from. You know, but that's the part I like. We all got together here and standing here taking this big portrait, and of course that's me there. I guess you can spot me. You know, I gotta be, you know, me. If you saw any of the videos on Mr. Yorkie Lover, you know I'm a big mouth. And there's Steve Reeves. That guy is he's not top man. Let me see if I can show you. Steve Reeves is just to the left of me. The fourth picture on the left of me. Let me see if I can identify some of the guys. Sam Lipinski was there. He was one of them. But these guys go way back. And you know what the thrill of it all was for me? Some were before my time. Most of the guys were before my time. And you know, as now I'm a geezer like this. Let's see who it is. Some of these guys are photographers. Some of these guys never made really a big name in the game. So there's the one and only Steve Reeves. We'll focus on him a little while. And let me see, I'm not sure who this is. You know, I can't remember exactly his name. There's that Jubenville, the guy that does the contortions, the master contortionist. Dennis Tenorino there's next to Bill Pearl on the right. He's been taken from us too. and yours truly. I get a kick every time I see myself because I know I'm right there running my mouth. Let's see here, who else we have that can be identified, and maybe some of these guys, you know, didn't make a big enough name for me to remember them at the time. Oh, the guy on the right there, I know he was pretty famous in our day. And you know what's one funny thing? When I say our day, this goes from the 40s into the 60s and 70s. That's about where this period where we were, all of us are really doing our thing. And the day when steroids, you didn't even have the word, didn't even know the word steroids. Creatine, glutamine, all these things that you guys take for granted. And I tell you something, 90% of us, if we had it in our day, you guys today wouldn't have stood a chance, even with your steroids. But we didn't have any. What they knew about nutrition was just nil compared to what they know today. But that's the big grand portrait that we like. Took a while getting this thing set up, you know. This was not something that you look at it. We were out there for quite a while putting the chairs together and identifying the different guys. Some of these guys I won't be able to tell you because they never made a big name in bodybuilding. Some of them were writers and so forth. But here we had Joe Bender, Jubenville, Eiferman, Joe Weider, and I think that was Lloyd Larrell there. Then we have Armand Tanny, we all know him, John Grimmick. These were the names of the game at that time. Or, you know, in bodybuilding itself, they were the names of the game. Some of these fellows that I don't know, but it was just fantastic feeling to see these fellas and to see that it's you know, it's like a shot of adrenaline. And then that was 20 years ago, so I was still in I hadn't gotten my 50s yet. I got in my 50s, I was in my 50s. And I mean, I was excited as hell because some of these guys were older than me. Very few were younger, you know, than I was. So it was just something that I relish, and I hope you guys can help you guys a little bit by letting you know just what happened, not just see people there and not knowing who was who. And, you know, the technology, sometimes I said, boy, if we had the kind of cameras that my friend Mr. Yorkie Lover had, how you could see every face and everything, it would have been a lot more enjoyable that if you had that kind of stuff then. But, you know, that's like anything else, progress. Well, now this is another part of the dinner. You know, I'm excited about it. Believe it or not, 20 years from now, I see this, and it's so exciting because it goes back, you know. Now, there's Joe Kennedy. He's the publisher of the magazine, and he's taking on most of the pictures. And there's Victor Boff here. He put out the old-time strongman book, and he's an old-timer from way back. He's before even he's from the 30s and the 40s. Vic, I should be laughing, but Vic, and there's my mentor Joe Weider and his wife Betty. There's Betty there. That's Joe's wife, and of course she's a lot sweeter and younger than Joe, but you know, that's Joe. And the reason I talk about Joe's without Joe, I don't know what had happened to this game. He's been more than a brother. Joe's a combination of brother, father, and friend. All the combination. There's such thing. Joe's a new name. Gotta get a new name for Joe. Brother, father, and friend. He's all together. For me, anyhow, and for a lot of guys. That's just the back of Joe right now, and there's the one of the greatest bodybuilders. He's the greatest shape of any bodybuilder of all time, Steve Reeves. That's him, and a beautiful human being, you know, nice guy. And when he was younger, boy, he was a good-looking guy, boy, I tell you. He's still good-looking, even 20 years ago, you know, but there's Reeves again. And And he was, what I like about Reeves, he was very open and friendly, but the thing that brings him out from all the bodybuilders of all time, you ever can see, is his fantastic clavicle, wide clavicle, small hips and waist. Made his body just unbelievable. I always admired his body, you know. And then had the pleasure to get together with him again. It's the second time I've seen Reeves in his entire life. And there's a lot of focus on him. It's him there. It's probably talking to somebody. There's the great Jack LaLanne. Now that's another icon. What a delightful human being this man is. I mean, you just can't. He's got an unbelievable personality. He's just loaded with energy, and loaded. And there's Vic Boff. He's in the 30s. He goes back, but Jack. I mean, Jack is the man. I mean, and what's so great about Jack is that he's so great in everything he does, and yet he's so amiable and friendly and true. And I used to look at Jack in astonishment, because right there, Jack was in his late 70s. Right there. And anybody would know that. I don't know. I wouldn't. You know, that's Jack, and the Geronda with that old ugly coat. He annoyed the hell out of me with that. That Geronda, I guess he had to stand out. I couldn't stand that coat. I made fun of him the whole time we were there. And that's Bob Del Monte. He's a guy that the one of the aging. He's the one that's always looking for the fountain of youth. Bob Del Monte. He was that was what you call a great bodybuilder, but he made his mark, and he's a guy that obsessed with the aging process. And that he skipped my mind. Don, I can't remember exactly who he was. He was a good bodybuilder in our time too, but I can't remember his name completely. You know, I'm getting to be a geezer now. I can't remember all that stuff 20 years ago. You know, give me a break. Let me see who else oh, Zabo. Oh my God, I love him. He's a man of abdominal fame. Oh, Zabo, he's a great guy too. Man, I tell you, when I see, you know what's happening to me now? I'm getting to start making a fool out of myself now, because I'm just, and there's Artie. Artie, I got some, I don't know if I got any pictures of Artie. Artie had a tremendous body. Now he's a photographer now. He's a guy that takes all of them. There's Zabo playing around. Zabo had a fantastic body with the best abdominals you've ever seen. And he always played around. Zabo enjoyed life. I tell you, he enjoyed life. That's a guy that, some of these guys, I see them and I get excited, you know, because I remember the times we had together, the fun and enjoyment. These are just, I don't know who these people are, except for Vic Boff in the middle. Oh, Peggy Stockton. Peggy Stockton was the first woman that's next to that publicized, I got to stop now. I got my mouth full of food, and that's me. And you know, the windbag, got to make sure he stays on him now for a while now, because, and that's Jack LaLanne, Leroy Colbert, the windbag, Victor Boff, Artie Zeller, and I can't catch the guy on the end there. He must be just in there just so he can get in with the old timers, you know. And I don't, I know his name. I know him, but I can't remember his name. But then I look at this thing and I said, Jesus, I was in my almost 60 years old then. That annoys me a little bit. I thought I was younger than that. And that's my girl. Well, now we have Victor Boff. You see what? Ed Jubenville. Ed Jubenville is next to Artie with all the cameras. And wait, of course, now let me get enough. I can't even, this moves so fast. Now you must remember, this was never taken to be publicized or used in any manner. So, and you didn't have the best equipment in those days, you know. So I'm a little annoyed in the sense that the picture isn't sharper. But it's exciting for me to see this, you know. I'm just, it just brings back old days. It's a funny thing, you know, the mind is weird. It's almost like I was there. I'm there again. I mean, I see everything, you know, it's like, everything is coming back, you know, and I can see like the reunions, at the reunion, you know. And it's just great to see this, and to let you enjoy what we enjoy, and camaraderie we have. You're not going to see any reunions of the bodybuilders today. They don't have that kind of camaraderie. They never grew up with the kind of cohesion that we had. We had the connection, the contact that we had. We weren't loading up with steroids, trying to outdo each other. Yeah, you know, this party wasn't over yet. You know, I could have went all night for me. I was just as excited to be around the boys. Down there we have Artie Zeller. Boy, he is a piece of work, that guy, Artie Zeller. And there's Joe Kennedy. He took loads of pictures. He was Arnold's official photographer then. He took pictures of Arnold that the world will never see.
Which is the old-timers get-together in San Diego, in California. Art Zeller. What do you think of the show, Art?
It's a wonderful... What show? This wasn't a show. This was a gathering. Well, this was a gathering, and it's a great gathering. And because there was no show, it's a very relaxed gathering. There's nobody unhappy here because he lost, for example, because everybody won. And we have in this room the two greatest bodybuilders of all times in terms of reputation, and that's John Grimmick and Steve Reeves. And I just want to say that John Grimmick is the one bodybuilder that everyone in this room, or at least every man in this room, was inspired by, including Steve Reeves. And that's no put down to Steve Reeves. He is equal, of course.
Because what you're saying is John Grimmick was the first.
Grimmick came first, and therefore even Reeves was inspired by Grimmick. And to see them both sitting at the same table here is a wonderful sight, especially for an old-timer like me, who was a young boy when they were in their prime, and it's wonderful to see them now, 50 years later.
Very good. And you look marvelous right now.
Thank you very much.
You've got another 50 years to come. Colbert or Colbert?
Here I am feeding. I look like I've been eating all day. The food was unbelievable. And there's Joe Kennedy talking to me about training, and that they bettered my arm at 21 inches with a steel tape. And they tell me my arm was, and all the peak guys were around, and Joe Weider looked in astonishment, and the official guy that measured these guys' arms was David Willoughby. And he said astounding when he measured my arm. You know me, all I want to do is build a big arm. I never dreamed it would get that big.
You're on camera right now, so you've got to stop talking and thinking boxing, all right? We're going to ask you some bodybuilding questions.
Sure.
What are you doing with your life now?
Well, I have a natural food store in the marina, which I've been in this business for 30 years.
Where's that, the marina? Where's that?
Marina Del Rey, California.
Oh, in California now?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were in New York.
No, I moved here a year and a half ago.
I thought you looked happier. The thing is, are you still training?
Yes.
Well, how come you didn't eat any food tonight?
Well, you know I'm on a diet. I'm trying to get in top shape.
We can't stop this guy talking because he loves life. He's just beginning to realize how much he loves life, I think.
Oh, yeah. So, especially since I moved out to California.
Leroy had the biggest arms in the world way back in about 1955, am I right there?
1955, 60s.
Yeah.
First man to develop, according to David Willoughby, a muscular arm. The first man developed over 20-inch muscular arm.
I believe he even measured your arm with a steel tape, isn't that right?
That's right.
Okay, so there was no doubt about it. You were absolutely the best. You had beautiful shape, and it was before steroids, Leroy.
That's right. I must admit it was before steroids.
And would you ever have taken steroids if you lived in this era with a 20-year-old in this era?
Certainly.
You're the only man to say that. Thanks a lot, Leroy.
Thank you, Bob.
And now there's George Eiffelman. He was a guy with a big chest. He was short, but he had big chest, big arms. He was one of the great bodybuilders of the 40s and the 50s and the early 60s, 70s.
What? You like it so much, eh?
I might buy Leo's old gym. I'm negotiating.
You're not serious.
Honest. I'm negotiating.
Oh my God. Moving again. Remember the old days you used to move every few years?
Keep ahead of the posse.
What do you think of the event here?
Oh, that's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, to see all the people who made bodybuilding what it is today.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to meet you too, because...
Well, of course, George.
I'm a
You
fan.
always say things like that.
No.
You're known as Mr. Nice Guy in this business. That's the trouble.
I'm a manic exuberant.
All right, well, that's beautiful. Thanps very much. I wish you all the best.
Take care of yourself.
Now come back to the windbag. The windbag's getting a lot of camera space here. but you notice I'm not quite. And there's what a beautiful guy too. That's behind. You'll see him soon. He's right there in the middle of John Grimmick and I. Don Ross. I God, he was a delightful man. He was one of the bodybuilders that we really enjoyed being with, because he was really enthusiastic about training and eating, and just an enthusiastic bodybuilder. It made you happy to be around him.
John, get in there.
Didn't flash, Stella. You've got John Grimmick and Leroy Colbert here.
Colbert's right. Hey, Rita.
Hi, John.
What's this, pal?
We're doing to you in a minute.
Is this your,
We've already heard what you did.
is this your phallic fetish, pal?
Come over here. Come over here. You're on camera right here.
Okay.
Nice to see you.
How are you, John?
This is truly the greatest bodybuilder that ever lived. That's right. Bar
But
none.
I'm dead.
We've just had Art Zeller say that everybody in here at some time or other was inspired by John C. Grimmick. Everybody.
That's true.
God bless that. I can't say anything.
Well, you don't have to, John. It's just that everybody was inspired by you. And
I'm
they really are happy.
surprised you're here, and I'm very glad you're here, too.
And he says the same thing, don't you,
That's
Ripper?
true. You know, the other day I was at World Gym, and I looked up, and it was like a divine inspiration. There was John Grimmick, the great John Grimmick, and all of a sudden, when I went back to the weights, suddenly my strength doubled, and I was able to lift tremendously more than I could before. That's right. This is truly the greatest man ever in bodybuilding.
Tell me your secret, because I want it.
Thanks, guys. Thanks a lot. That's given him sclerosis of the liver.
It has?
Yes.
Is that what?
Very ill, John.
Holy shirts, and
Didn't
I'm
want you
taking
to know.
Huh?
The meeting has come about 11 o'clock in the morning, but we'll get some copies off here. It's very easy to get to. John and Angela are staying with us, the Grimmick's are staying with us.
Okay.
And, we're hoping Steve's going to come over.
He has a contract with Joe Weider, and he's gone back now, but he's going to be coming back to work for Joe because he gets so much money. What's the matter? Too loud? We got.
Oh, there's Vince with that goddamn coat. I'm so mad. I was so annoyed at Vince with that damn coat. Look at him. Yeah. But I think he did that purpose, because that's what Vince is. Vince got to stand, and Vince knew damn well that nobody in there had that ugly piece of coat on but him. Anything ugly like that. But that's Vince.
Got the Iron Guru here with us, ladies and gentlemen, Vince Gironda. Vince, what do you think of this event? Do you like it? Is it a lot of nonsense? Do you like it?
I never thought I'd see this many of my former friends and champions in one room together on the planet Earth. But this is the last time you'll ever see me.
You listen, Vince, you weren't even going to come to this because you said, I do not want to be with a bunch of old fogies.
Correct.
But now you seem to be having a good time.
Yes, because I see that everybody looks worse than I do, and I'm going to go home and start training again. I don't want that to happen to me.
Beautiful. Thanks, Vince.
And there's Russ Warner, the great photographer. What a beautiful guy he is. Really, he's the guy that got it all together.
Oh, yeah, thanks. You got my name tag on you.
No problem.
Right. This is Russ Warner, one of the organizers with Leo Stern, and he's organized the event here. Any comments? It's a beautiful thing. Everybody loves it. They're
Well,
really
let me say
enjoying
this.
themselves.
I think this is the greatest gathering of the old-timers that I, in due respect to with Dick Boff, who does a marvelous job on the East Coast. But I think this is fantastic.
Yeah.
Very proud of the group that came over, and thanks to them to make it happen.
Yeah, I understand that there were so many people wanted to come over and above what we could hold in this room.
Well, if we invited everybody that wanted to come, we'd have 500 people.
Yeah.
But it only holds like 180. Yeah.
And will you ever do it again, Russ?
I think so.
It's a beautiful event. Everybody's enjoying it.
We love it. I've probably got more fun out of it than the people here. I really enjoyed it.
I've watched you this last day or two, and I've never seen anybody so happy.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate it.
It's really, we really love it, and we love what you've done for us. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much.
Most of these guys are after me, even though, no, not most of them, yeah. Like Grimmick wasn't after me. There's old Joe. Joe Weider, my man. Every time you show Joe Weider, I get nostalgic.
This videotape now. This is Joseph Weider. Now, Joe, what do you think of this event? Enjoying yourself? Is it nice to be here with all these old-timers? You're not an old-timer, are you?
No, just a kid.
Do you enjoy it all or not?
What are you making a video for yourself?
Yeah, he's just doing a little video, that's all.
Oh, yeah.
He's too young to know most of these people.
That's right.
We've got Larry Scott down here. Larry and Joe go back a long way.
Yeah, we do. Back to about 1920.
Not that far.
An energy. Jack LaLanne, I tell you, boy, you meet him, if you don't like him, something wrong with you. Tell you that.
Say how old he is, but he certainly looks no older than about 35.
What does age have to do with anything, right?
Right, okay.
Age, you know what age is? There are more people that are aged prematurely because they think of age. Think about it.
Okay.
You know, in our society, we pigeonhole people. We put the, the young kids here, then we put the teenagers. Right? Do you think we think of sex and promiscuous sex? We think of dope and incorrigible people. And then you think of 40 years old. Oh my God, they're starting to get middle age now. They're going to go down the tube. Then you think of the senior citizen. You think of them dribbling old poops. I'm telling you, this. You put these little seeds in people's brains. You know, the good book says, by constantly beholding, you become changed. If you start putting these little seeds in people's minds, they start thinking this. I know guys that are 80, 85 years old that are younger than a lot of friends of mine that are 20 years old.
Yeah.
There are 90 years old guys that are doing triathlons. They're doing all these marathons.
Yeah.
It's strictly in your brain. You know what the important thing in life is? This second. If you're not happy this second, you'll never make it. The only thing in life, you only have 100 units of energy, right?
Right.
If you take 50 units of energy thinking what you used to do, another 50 what you're going to do, you've got nothing for this second. If a person could take all their energy and put it into the second, they cannot fail. This is the truth.
Beautiful. So it's all in the mind. But you've got beautiful skin, you've got hair. I mean, my God.
You know what you said, it's all in the mind. That is not right. You can't separate the mind and the body. It's impossible. If this body is not working, it's a circulation, which helps increase circulation to your brain, so they go together as a team. You can't separate them. You know, think about it.
Yeah.
Take your finger. Give me your finger. Okay. You've got $1 million in the bank. You've got a perfect mate. You've got a great business going. You're the great Doug. What are you thinking about?
Ouch. Right.
What are you thinking about?
The pain.
You're thinking about your money in the bank. See, you can't separate the mind and the body. It's impossible. That's why it's so important for physical fitness, to keep this body free of aches and pain, keep the circulation going. See, you're working together as a team. Remember, the body is your brain's slave. My 640 muscles are my slave, and my brain tells it what to do, right?
The brain is a computer that gets everything going.
If this slave is in lousy shape, I'm going to be in lousy shape. Like a lot of people, they say, oh, I'm going to go on a vacation. They go on a vacation, they still take their body. They can't leave their old aching body at home, can they?
Right.
You know what life is?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
It's physical fitness. What you eat, the exercise you do, and putting together the brain and the body. That's what life's all about. But you have to work at it. I'll give you two little things. If you'll use these two words, anything in life is possible. Pride and discipline. Just think
There's the answer. It's enthusiasm. The man has enormous enthusiasm.
How'd the Japanese do it?
Go on.
How'd the German do it? Pride, and discipline. That's what we have to get back in America today.
Yeah.
We've lost it. We don't believe in God. We don't believe in our country. We don't believe in anything.
Don't believe in the family.
Most Americans don't believe in a damn thing anymore.
Yeah.
That's what's sad.
Yeah.
That's why I'm so proud to be involved with this physical fitness.
Right.
This is the salvation of humanity right here. When your health goes, when your enthusiasm, when everything goes, you've got nothing. And the only way you can keep that nothing is how you think, the food you eat, and the exercise you do. See, exercise is king, nutrition's queen.
There you have it.
That's Bill Pearl. He won a number of titles. He's one of the great champions of the 60s and 70s.
Mag's Video. Can you hear me or not? Bob Kennedy here for Muscle Mag's Video. Hi. We've got Bill Pearl here. He's won just about every title there is. Mr. America, Mr. Universe, many, many times. And now he's at the event here. Bill, do you enjoy this sort of thing? And what do you think of it?
It's probably one of the highlights of my entire bodybuilding career. Last August, I started my 50th year in weight training, and this is one of the greatest things that's happened to me in all the 50 years that I've trained, Bob.
50 years of weight training. Bill, you don't even look 50 years old.
You're a good guy, thank you.
So the thing is, are you still getting up early in the morning to train?
Yes, I do. I live in a very small town of about 2,000 people, and I get up around 2:30 to 3 o'clock to train.
2:30 to 3 o'clock to train. What happens then when you get up?
I have to train because there's nothing else to do in a town of 2,000 population.
That's fantastic. Thanks, Billy.
Thank you. My pleasure. Thank you.
Del Monteque, he was like an in-between guy. He was one of those guys. Now, he was about 70 there.
Fitness. I won't say how. Hi, Bob Kennedy here with Muscle Mag's Muscle Video. I've got Bob Del Monteque here. He's an old-time photographer. He's been in the sport for many, many years. He's much older than he looks. He only looks 35 years old. He keeps himself enormously fit, believe me. Now, how do you keep yourself so fit and looking so good, Bob?
You know, the real secret, Kennedy, is Russ Warner. I'm at the Buena Park Wax Museum, and he come over and got me out of it today. I don't think so. No, I think the important factor is having good genes and also taking care of yourself. There's 7 laws to nature: proper rest, proper diet, proper exercise, proper mental attitude, get a little fresh air if you can find that, sunshine, and drinking water. But most of all, I think your mind's got to be fulfilled. You got to be happy, and you got to do things in life. You got to be a doer and a goer and a winner. Right. I still have grandkids, and I water ski and I snow ski with them. I golf and I play tennis and I swim, and I'm active because activity is life and stagnation is death. And once you sit down, it's like Confucius say, man who sit on bottom end up on bottom. And also, success needs no explanation or figure no alibi. So, you know, the reason, I don't know whether I look or whether I feel good, but everybody tells me so. In the Bible it says you are as you think it, so I walk around saying, man, I'm great.
Can we dare ask how old you actually are?
I'm 71. I have a birthday coming up on the 9th of November, which will make me 72.
71 years old, skiing, snow skiing, swimming, running, and I understand you ran a marathon just a few weeks ago.
Well, 2.5 months ago. Yeah, I was up in Santa Fe, New Mexico, 7,100 feet up, and it was quite hard.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, but I just made up my mind up to do it, and I walked a little of it. It wasn't all, and I did it under 5 minutes. I mean, not 5 minutes, but 5 hours. Yeah. But still,
it's still very, very good. Yeah. All right. Thanks very much, Bob Del Monteque. Thanks so much.
Kitty here, and she has the same name I do, so I decided to take her home.
I think that's a very good idea, Larry. And Larry's still got his 20-inch arms, and he's 53 years old, ladies and gentlemen. Larry Scott, what a phenomenon of our times. And look at the wife. She's even younger looking.
Incredible.
Thanks, Larry.
Thank you.
You did very well. You're all big as hell. I can't believe you, old bugger. Jeez.
I quit this bitch.
Wait a minute. Before you click away, I want you to subscribe, like, comment, hell, even dislike if you want to. At least do something before you get out of here.